Welcome to the show. Africa bears the brunt of climate change more than developed countries, despite countries in Africa being the lowest carbon emitters. This has raised calls for compensation or a fund to help those most affected to adapt to the effects of climate change. At COP26, a delegation from Africa has been putting their case forward. So what do young people from Africa think of the pledges made so far?
Years ago at the United Nations Climate Conference, the developed nations made a pledge of $100 billion to the developing nations to help them better mitigate and adapt to the effect of climate crisis. While these are good promises and great ambitions, we need to move past promises and pledges into real-time accelerated action.
The children cannot live on words and empty promises. They are waiting for you to act. Please open your hearts and then act.
There is no time anymore and time is ticking. $100 billion in a year is even really not enough to adapt and mitigate climate change.
Floods like this are becoming more frequent.
Because of the terrible effect that climate change has caused over time in Nigeria and the neighboring countries, of course. Although this pledge was made, there was no plan on how much each of these developed nations are meant to pay to contribute to climate action. It's just been promises upon promises, and now we are at Glasgow at COP26. We need to move past promises.
In just 4 years' time, half of the world's population will be facing water scarcity. And by the time I'm 50, the climate crisis will have displaced 86 million people in Sub-Saharan Africa alone.
In Nigeria, we're not able to jump through the hoop to access climate finance because of the technicality and also the complexity. We don't want this money to be given to us as loans, but rather as grants. As I speak, we have not reached the $100 billion goal. We don't just want to be in the pictures, we don't just want to be in the books and the magazines, we want to be a part of the decision-making process. We're intelligent people and we know what we're doing. We are young people who are creating solutions in Nigeria and we need more attention.
That's the view from COP26 in the UK. But let's go to the ground in Nigeria, where the effects of climate change are playing major havoc on people's everyday lives. Our reporter Dami is in his hometown Lagos to tell us what people are hoping to hear.
Thanks, Nora. People here in Lagos, the most populous city in Africa, are often left living in fear of floods, fear that their home could be swept away and they could become homeless. When there is high tide on this Lagos lagoon, the entire city goes on panic alert as drainage channels overflow. The flooding gets so bad, people can't even get to their property. They have to use boats. Young people here have told me they don't want to continue to live in fear.
We want the world leaders to come up with an idea to stop this flooding, because as a kid, it's affecting our mental health. Sometimes the rain will fall, send us packing from our house. When we are supposed to be in school, we come back home to pack the water. We want the world leaders to consider all this and help us.
It has caused a lot of destruction in household materials, chairs, tables, books, where to keep their books, because the water is going to destroy everything.
Let's see how far this conference goes about in bringing fresh hope and calm to agitated residents here and others across the country.
Thanks, Dami.